The Afterglow Universal Wireless gaming headset, as you can see, very similar to the original wired headset, except for this one has no wires. This is good if you have everything set up across the room and you don't want to have a big cable hanging around. Those of you who have seen the review for the other one will be very familiar with this one, as it is in fact incredibly similar down to the colored illuminated headband, the colored buds, the microphone, which has 3 different settings, or in this case all of them shown right by here. And you would imagine that that has something to do with the microphone, but it's not. It's actually the audio mode. They have your standard audio, which is just straight up as it's coming in, it goes there. They have your bass heavy version, which is the red. And they also have the surround sound, which it's not legitimate surround sound, it is still a stereo system, but it gives you a virtual surround to kind of fill out audio a bit more, give you the impression that you're in surround sound. It's of all the modes on it, it's the one I end up using the most on this. The microphone is still on a flexible arm, so you can get it in and out as you see fit, or as you need to. The mute button is right here. Microphone will blink to show you it's there. It'll also give you an audible tone. You can change the color settings so that you can either remove just the earbuds color, you can remove just the top, or both. This is really just if the lights are bothering you. If you're in a dark room trying to play something, it's glaring off the screen or whatever, you can turn them off. This particular model does not have different colors to choose from. It is simply green, and any of them with the 2 bands will be like this. The inner band is kind of a nice little soft guy. The outer band is kind of just a hard one there to kind of make sure that it keeps its shape to some extent. It helps apply a little pressure to the side. There is a prismatic version, which is just a single band that goes across, and that one will actually allow you to change the colors by holding down the button instead of turning it on and off like that one does. The cables, you remove the head here from the picture. We have all kinds of little cable hookups down here, including, and never mind the blinking red light, it's actually the camera. We have our charging port right here, and this is just a little mini USB. It comes with a cable to charge it. It's a relatively long cable. I believe it's about 6 feet or something like that. And you can plug it into a computer if you want to use it as a wired headset. You can plug it into anything that's powered in USB basically, and it'll help charge this guy. It has your Xbox input for your old Xbox 360 controllers. I don't know how it fares on any of the new systems because I don't own any of the new systems, so as far as I know it works great with a 360. It's got a line-in jack if you want to plug it directly into your phone or anything else. It's got the little 3.5 port, since they generally won't be able to power the wireless unit in order to do it. You have your volume controls. Right here we got the game chat balance, which a lot of people will be familiar with if they use gaming headsets to begin with. And then of course your normal volume control right there. There's a couple of little tidbits about it that could cause problems for some users. It's kind of hard to notice on here because of course it's a fake head, so we can't really get in there to see it, but you'll notice that the earbuds, although they are comfy, they're rather squishy. You'll notice I kind of have mine turned backwards. Well, the problem I have is that I wear glasses, and these things apply quite a bit of pressure, and over time can actually cause quite a bit of pain to your ears from where your ear is actually running over your glasses, and this is pushing in on it. I've alleviated some of it by turning it backwards because the more of this in the front tends to kick it up a little bit so it doesn't apply as much pressure on my ear. And if it's not applying as much pressure on my ear, then it's not pushing it against the glasses as much. Alternatively, the only other real major option would be getting something else in there to help keep it off of your ear, so to speak, such as a beanie. Getting a nice little felt beanie or something like that will help, because it'll apply a little bit more of a spread to the headset and not crush as much onto your ears. The best alternative as a person wearing glasses that I can say is to just take a break when wearing something like this. Don't go wearing it for 3 hours straight, and it won't be as much pressure on your ears to bother you. Major downside here, this is still a stereo headset, with a virtual sound. Some people might not enjoy that. The pads, although they are squishy and it covers pretty good, also cause all kinds of sweating, and it tends to suck right into your head, so it's kind of a tight fit. So your ears will probably get sweaty with extended use, and you also won't be able to hear anything from outside the headsets coming in as well, because they do kind of latch right on there. There is some other issues I'm going to get into in a minute when I switch over to show you a computer side view of it, because people have had plenty of issues with them, and there's been all kinds of comments of people acting like 12-year-olds, as will happen on the internet. So we'll get into that in a moment. The other thing I want to talk about is the microphone. There sometimes is a little bit of a staticky feedback into it. It's not a huge issue. I mean, it's on par with a normal Xbox headset. If you're looking for, flawless microphone quality, this might not be it, but it's decent considering the price range on it. And I'll talk about a few more things about it as well when I switch over to the computer view to show you. But another thing to know is occasionally, whether you have it hooked up to a Xbox or to a computer or whatever you have it hooked up to, the volume controls will stop working. Whether you slide it up or down, it just doesn't do anything. The easiest way to remedy this that I have found is you simply just hold down the mute button, which functions as the power, turn the unit off, turn the unit back on, and then all of a sudden you'll have your volume controls. And this is something that you will have to do if all of a sudden you find that you're not being heard by people as well. And it happened more on the Xbox than it did on the PC when I was using it, where all of a sudden my microphone wasn't working, so I'd have to turn off the unit, turn it back on. It doesn't happen super frequently, but it does happen, so it's something that you should be aware about. And I'm going to switch over to the computer here soon so I can actually show you more about how these things are seen on that. Because as far as the Xbox goes, it's set up just like the other ones. It's supplied with a cable that splits from your normal AV cables. That cable gets plugged in. It's got one little end at the end. The USB dongle plugs into the unit. That'll provide the wireless aspect of it. And then there's audio jack that you plug into the jack for the audio video cables for the sound coming out of that, and that'll transfer it to this. It's very similar on the PC, where the cable gets hooked. USB dongle goes into a powered port. In order to work properly, it's got to be a powered port on a computer, and then the dongle end would get plugged into your headphone jack, which would then transfer the audio to these wirelessly. Alright, apologize in advance for the shaky camera on this part. Kind of holding it in front of the screen. Unfortunately, I'm trying to demonstrate this on a laptop, and screen capture doesn't work too good on it. But what you should be able to see here, this is just your basic sound manager. When you plug the headset in, it'll automatically install drivers and all of that. It might require a reboot of the computer in order to function super properly, but you'll see that it shows headset earphones, Afterglow Universal Wireless gaming headset. Your first inclination is going to be to use that. But for a lot of systems, what you'll end up actually using is your default audio that would come out of the head jack that you just plugged into. In the case of a laptop, it's just the speakers. In the case of my desktop, it might be the front audio jack sound. If this doesn't work for some reason, you might actually have to use the headphone the headset earphone section. It's nicer when it works with the speakers because that's where you will get all your fun sound effects and the likes. On the other hand, in the recording for the microphone, you'll see a couple of numbers just flying around over here on the graphics bar. The Afterglow Universal Wireless headset should have its own entry into the microphone, and that's the microphone you will use on your computer in order to get the actual microphone on the headset to work. What this is the dongle itself, the USB piece of it, picks up the audio from the microphone, whereas the jack ends up giving you the audio for transmission, so like any of the audio playing on the computer itself. So if I were to do a test sound here, it plays through my actual headset. If I were to do a test sound here, nothing happens, even though it says headset. So a lot of people have a hard time figuring that out, and then they just start ranting and raving like lunatics because, you know, oh, it's not working, it's a piece of crap, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit of a learning curve. They do have on YouTube and instructions on how to set it up, and it's pretty straightforward and easy to follow, but some people have a hard time with that as well, so take it or leave it. Overall, I enjoy them. They work great. Being able to walk around, 2 floors and not have a loss of my audio is a wonderful thing for me, and overall it was worth the price, although some might be seeking a little bit better quality from audio or a little bit better quality from the microphone. For my purposes of being able to play a game with a wireless controller and not having a giant wired cable running from one line to the other for 7 feet, this is a nice little addition. The biggest things to note is when you go to get one, if you do want to get one, if you want one with the dual headbands like I just showed you, make sure the color is the color you want it, because it's only going to be one color. If you pick up the single headbanded prismatic version, then you don't have to worry about it being a specific color outside of white or black for the actual frame of it. Or else, if you're not paying attention, you end up with a green headset when you meant to get a blue headset, and you kick yourself for it, even though it's a small little minor detail.